What if the missing piece to the Montreal Canadiens puzzle isn't a draft pick, but a proven talent, a young powerhouse ready to ignite the Bell Center? Imagine a world where Mason McTavish, the Anaheim Ducks burgeoning star, dons the iconic blue Blanc et Rouge. The whispers have grown into a roar, echoing from the sun-drenched beaches of Southern California to the icy rinks of Quebec. But is this a dream on the verge of becoming reality, or merely another tantalizing mirage in the desert of summer speculation? For weeks, the hockey world has been abuzz with the possibility of Mason McTavish, the supremely talented restricted free agent, finding a new home. His name, once synonymous with Anaheim's promising rebuild, is now at the epicenter of trade rumors, with the Montreal Canadiens and Detroit Red Wings emerging as serious contenders. It's a narrative that sparks both fervent hope and cautious skepticism among fans. Why, many ask, would a team like the Ducks, seemingly on the cusp of a competitive future, even consider moving a player of McTavish's caliber? The answer, as often is the case in the intricate dance of NHL transactions, lies in the philosophy of the general manager. Pat Verbeek, the architect in Anaheim, has a well-established policy when it comes to his restricted free agents. He's not one to rush. While he swiftly locked up goaltender Lucas Dostal to a long-term deal, that move was born out of necessity, a strategic shoring up of a critical position after the departure of John Gibson. McTavish's situation is different. He holds no arbitration rights, and despite the rampant speculation, no team has dared to launch an offer sheet. His performance last season, a tale of two halves, saw him finish strong, but perhaps not with the consistent dominance that would compel Verbeek to break from his patient approach. This isn't a unique stance. The Canadiens themselves have adopted a similar, measured pace with their own highly touted prospect, Lane Hudson, demonstrating that patience can be a virtue in player development and contract negotiations. The recent trade of Trevor Zegras from Anaheim further fuels the McTavish speculation. Many interpreted the Zegras move as a definitive statement. Anaheim preferred McTavish as their long-term solution down the middle. Yet, here we are in mid-August discussing the very real possibility of McTavish being on the move. For Canadiens fans, the allure is undeniable. At 6'1" and over 200 pounds, a left-shot center who checks all the boxes for size, skill, and a proven NHL track record, McTavish represents a tangible upgrade. A player who could immediately slot into a top-6 role and accelerate the rebuild. The idea of acquiring a player with 140 points in just 229 NHL games, a known quantity rather than a what might become, is incredibly appealing. The Canadiens, as any responsible rebuilding organization should, have indeed kicked the tires on McTavish. But the critical question, the one that separates fantasy from reality, is the price. What would it truly cost to pry Mason McTavish away from Anaheim? The whispers from within the league suggest a king's ransom. Think David Reinbacher, Michael Hage, multiple first-round picks, and a collection of top-tier prospects. Yet, even that might not be enough. According to well-placed sources, the Ducks' primary, almost singular, focus in any potential McTavish trade is a current or future top-pair right-shot defenseman. This is where the dream hits the cold, hard reality of strategic team building. The Canadiens possess one such defenseman in Noah Dobson, an immovable cornerstone of their burgeoning blue line. They also have David Reinbacher, a projection of that very mold, a player they invested heavily in and view as integral to their future. The notion of trading either of these foundational pieces, especially Reinbacher, after just acquiring Dobson, seems utterly counter to the Canadiens' long-term vision. Stanley Cup-winning teams are built on a lockdown, immovable top-4 defensive core that can eat up significant minutes. The Canadiens have meticulously constructed this foundation, envisioning pairings like Dobson with Caden Goal and eventually Lane Hudson with David Reinbacher. To trade away a critical piece of that defensive future to fill a hole at center would be akin to patching a leak in the roof by tearing down a load-bearing wall. The current buzz around McTavish, in the eyes of many seasoned observers, is largely summer speculation running amok. The prevailing belief is that he will start the season in Anaheim. The drafting of Roger McQueen, a big, tall center taken 10th overall, might have initially fueled some of these rumors, but McQueen is at least 2 years away from sniffing the NHL, slated for the NCAA next season. This provides Anaheim with ample time to assess their center depth. Furthermore, the Ducks already have veterans like Ryan Strome and Frank Vatrano, and coach Joel Quenneville's preference for big centers up the middle suggests that a player like McTavish fits perfectly into their long-term plans. While teams are undoubtedly monitoring the situation, there are no aggressive trade discussions currently underway. Things are, as one insider described, mellow. And for the Canadiens, their stance is abundantly clear. They are not going to sacrifice their meticulously planned future for short-term fix, no matter how appealing. Their confidence in prospects like Michael Hage and David Reinbacher reaching their full potential is unwavering. This was evident in their discussions for Noah Dobson, where prospects like Hage and Reinbacher were considered non-starters. If they weren't willing to move those pieces for a legitimate top-pair defenseman, it's highly improbable they would do so for a center, even one with McTavish's undeniable upside. The Canadiens are in a rebuild, a process that demands patience and a steadfast commitment to their long-term vision. While a 22-year-old center with a massive ceiling like McTavish is undeniably tempting, especially when considering the uncertainty surrounding Kirby Dach's health, the cost of acquiring him would create a new, equally significant hole in their roster. Trading for McTavish would likely mean giving up the very right-shot defenseman that Anaheim covets and Montreal desperately needs for its own defensive foundation. The market for top-pair right-shot defensemen under the age of 30 is incredibly thin, making them almost immovable assets. The Canadiens were acutely aware of this scarcity when they drafted Reinbacher and aggressively pursued Dobson. Ultimately, the Canadiens are not in a position of desperation. They have shown immense patience throughout their rebuild and are willing to go to war with the talent they have, while always keeping an eye open for opportunistic moves. If they do seek a fix at the second-line center position, it will likely be a short-term solution, a bridge to allow their prospects, particularly Michael Hage, to develop. The dream of Mason McTavish in a Canadiens jersey, while captivating, remains just that for now, a dream. The reality is a strategic, patient rebuild focused on foundational pieces, not impulsive, future-compromising swings. What do you think? Does the Canadiens' patient approach make sense, or should they go all in for a talent like McTavish? Let us know your thoughts in comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, please give the video a like and subscribe for more exclusive insights into the world of hockey.